Hello, all my viewers, fans of do-it-yourself, Mason kits and sadists alike. Welcome once more to the Eclipse Lab channel, and today we're gonna finally make the video of replacing the W116 dashboard, because as I have said many times, I can't stand anymore these cracks lurking at me while I'm driving. So today join me and then you see how it should be made. And I advise you, it's a hell of work. It's a hell lot of work. For that, I advise you to leave the car in an area you don't need to move, disconnect the battery, and also be sure you don't need to turn on the engine while you're doing this, because there is an oil line that goes to the cluster, and the cluster must be removed, of course. And if you turn on the engine, oil will spill all over inside your car. So if you need to start the engine or move the car while you're doing this, install the cluster back, or at least this very connection. If you plan to remove your dashboard out, it's a perfect time for you to address some jobs. If your AC is not working or heater is not working, this is the best time for you to solve it, because you need the dashboard out and you don't want to touch this more than once, because it's just like shit. As more as you touch, more stink it gets. On my case here, I'm gonna remove the brake booster to have it painted. It's not necessary to have the dashboard out, but it makes it much easier this way. Also, you can address vacuum problems for the central lock and climate control. It will make much easier. Also, I have a video here showing me addressing vacuum problems for the central lock, and I advise you to watch it if you have those problems. If you have an old Mercedes and never touched that, I know you have these problems. So follow me now. It is best for having your battery removed, because some wires will be hanging down inside and you don't want any short circuit to burn everything or even catch fire. And this is my brake booster. It's all screwed up. The paint is terrible. I want it to look better, so I think I'll use this time. The dashboard is out, to have it remove it and repaint it. The brake master cylinder is looking bad too, so they both will be painted along with this air box and even maybe the radiator. I'm not sure yet, but I tried to paint once at home, but I don't know, I did something wrong, that the ink was peeling out very easily. I don't know why. Don't understand anything about painting. I'm gonna start up removing the passenger seat. This is not a necessary, actually this is not a mandatory step, but it makes things way easier for removing the center console, which is mandatory to have removed, to remove. The next thing I advise you is to remove all carpets from inside the car. And of course, this is going to be a perfect time for cleaning. The central one must be removed too. Another tip I can give you is to have some organizer like this for all screws and washers that you remove from the inside. And then this way we can divide them by part of the car, like this one's for seat, the ones for some panels are already removed. And you can, of course, you can label it, but I won't do that because I have this video for me to take my doubts if I need it. Front seat belt buckler must be removed also. Both sides. Pay attention to these spacers because they have some correct order. It will be like this: screw, buckler, and spacer. There is also this washer here that goes this way. So if you think you're finished on this side, sorry to tell you the truth, but we're not. We have to also remove this trim here and this A-pillar column trim. And this one here is a very fragile one. Be careful, it's made of cheap plastic, and if yours is below, under this seal here, it's better to remove the seal than take the risk. Mine seems to be perfect aligned,
but again, don't take the risk. Yeah, in this case I will take the seal out because it's pretty tight, and as I said, I don't want to risk.
So carefully pull it back towards you to clear this tab. Then after removing one screw for the A pillar, you can pull it out. There's 3 tabs that hold it in place alongside the screw. Let's do now the glove box part. The glove box is held by 3 plastic rivets, 3 down, 2 up. But before removing them, you have to remove this adapter. This is an interesting piece of German engineering. So with a plastic tool, we can just pop up the rivets and pull them up. They are made of 2 parts, one head and one body. It's a very easy to do. Just have to be a little bit patient. That's everything with cars, right? So hope you're enjoying this ominous song I put. And let's remove this adapter. Just one screw. You undo it, and the other side is held by a tab, and there is 2 wires connecting it. One for the antenna and one for electrical connection. Mine was already disconnected because it's not working anyway, and it doesn't have any function nowadays, but use it to convert the radio frequencies of Germany to the rest of the world, because Germany used to use one different. So make room for you to grab this interior part and pull it out, but don't forget to remove the lamp first. It's easy like that. And now let's remove the center console. Beginning with the carpet, unscrew the fader for the radio. Be careful and gentle. Don't lose any parts, because don't forget that gnomes and leprechauns love to steal these small parts and make them disappear forever. With a very small flat screwdriver, lift up the knobs for the windows, the power windows, but take lots of care because they are super fragile, and this chrome trim can be easy peeled off. So you don't want to spoil this and make your car look terrible. Don't forget the main objective of this job is to make the car look better, no, not worse. So remove the ashtray. You just need to push this spring stuff and pull it out. Behind it, you're gonna see 2 Phillips fittings. So remove them out, and this way you'll be able to remove the frame for the ashtray. But be careful because it has electrical connections for the lighter and the light, and there is this connector. You pull it in direction behind the center console, and now you're gonna be able to see more 2 Phillips fittings behind this ashtray. It holds the shifter bezel and fascia in place. So undo these fittings there. The space is tight, and pull back this panel. Don't lift it up directly because it has this guide pin there. If you try to lift, you're gonna break. So pull back and up. And for the radio, I always prefer to disassemble the fascia first, removing the knobs and the front panel, because the lid for the cassette is very fragile. If you try to grab this radio in this area, it's certainly gonna be broken. So remove the fascia, and then you're gonna have more room to grab the radio out. It's simple to remove the fascia. Just remove the knobs and pull it out. Pull the radio and disconnect all wires back. 2 for speakers, 1 for positive feeding, and a ground one. And you're gonna see this thick wire, this gray thick wire. It doesn't disconnect from the radio. It goes to the radio amplifier on the passenger side above the feet. You have to disconnect from the amplifier and then guided through the center console for you to pull the radio and this wire will come all together. So next is the panel for the climate control. We have to pull out the knobs for AC and fan, the knobs for the air guides, and also these plates for the air guides. You can remove them, as you see there now. Behind it, you have to remove both sides. Behind it, you're gonna see more 2 Phillips fittings that you have to remove, and this plate will be loose, as I'm doing now. Also, you have to remove 2 nuts, as you can see. Those nuts go behind the knobs for the blower and the AC. We have 24 mils. Remove them extra carefully. I'm removing these knobs now for the air vents, but it's not necessary to remove them now. So just loose them and then remove the rest with your hands, okay, because not to break anything. And when you make room for pulling this panel back, you have to disconnect connectors for all switches. Be careful here too, because switches have electrical connections and fiber optics connections. It's very fragile, it can be easily broken. Don't fold them up, otherwise they won't work anymore. Also, you're gonna have 2 more connectors. I can't show you, but they are for the blower switch and AC switch. And here, next to the seatbelt buckler screw, you have 1 fitting in each side that holds the center console in place. There will be only 4 screws for this, 2 on the back and 2 on the front next to the feet, 1 on the passenger side and 1 on the driver's side. See where I'm pointing here. On my car, this was already broken. So in order to remove this knee panel, you undo just three Phillips screws. They are down here inside the carpet, and you're ready to go. Just pull it out like this. On the upper part is just it just fit in with this plastic fittings here. Just put it out and to come as easy as it can get. And this air duct here should be removed too. Only 2 screws there and 1 here behind this panel. The last screws here behind this trimming here, I just push it down instead of removing completely. It was not necessary to remove. I could access the screw and then I need to pull this toward myself. There's also this panel here. It has some small rivets. Take care not to lose them. Those rivets here, these push buttons. 2 of them. And now I think the center console can finally be removed. So I'm pulling the center console backwards. Have to raise here on the back for it to pass those high parts here. And then we raise even more for it to clear the gears lever and keep on pulling it back and to come loose. And now we've just gained access to the screws that hold this dashboard in place, like this and that. But it's not over yet. We have to remove the steering wheel, although it's not very necessary, but makes things much easier.
We have to remove the cluster. This I don't need to show because there is a video, there is a card above showing how I did this before. One more thing we need to disconnect is inside the glove box you see there is this plastic lever here, actually a lever with a plastic screw on it, a plastic nut, I don't know. We have to unconnect it because this is what this controls, see? And if you try to remove the dashboard without disconnecting this, you're gonna make this connection broken. So don't make this mistake. In order to remove the steering wheel, if your car has no airbags, you just need to remove this Mercedes emblem here from the center with a small flat blade screwdriver. And then you gain access to the nut behind it. It's a 22 socket. Use your brute force. Watch out before pulling out the steering wheel. Put it back on straight position. This way you don't have to pay alignment for your car again. We now remove the knobs for the beam lights, the headlights, and the parking brake. For the headlights switch, you just pull the knob, and there is a nut behind it, 24 too, just like the AC controls. After removing the cluster, you are finally ready to begin to remove the dashboard itself. Well, shit's about to get serious now. The only thing I have to remove now is the dashboard itself. So let's first start with these 3 screws here on the driver's side. There are 10mm screws. And I suspect you're asking, this is the serious shit you told me? No, this is not. This is the easy part. I'm gonna show you the screws that you're gonna have to suffer a little to reach them out. It's not impossible, but with patience we can do. Well, the serious shit is because this dashboard is locked in place. Also with 3 nuts on the back, 2 on each side and 1 in the middle, on the center area. And you have to remove it. The access is rather hard. Here on the driver's side is hard. It's not hard, it's easy actually. But I recommend you to have this spanner with a ratchet embedded. It will make your life much easier. Now we'll release this one. And there is one down here. Here, there. And symmetrically positioned. There is another 8mm nut like on the other side. We release this one. And the problematic one is that one there in the middle, in the center part. It's hard, very hard to reach. Good news is that you don't need to remove it totally, you just need to make it loose. And the dashboard can finally be lifted. So this is the arrangement I prepared to remove this central screw. I don't know if it is going to be enough, but let's try it. So the dashboard is now finally ready to be removed. According to Mercedes maintenance manual, there is a trick here. You have to raise the passenger side first and then raise a little there, just enough for you to clear the screw, and rotate this way here, pulling the passenger side first towards you without lifting too much, otherwise it will hit here and won't come out. And going to break this edge in here. After you clear this side, you pull towards you the driver's side. I could be more careful, I admit, but as you know, I'm just going to replace this, so this will be of no use for me. But if you're going to reuse your own dashboard, be as gentle as possible in this part, because this is the crucial moment when you remove and you put back. The rest you can do it calmly, take as much time as you want. It's a heavy part and can get damaged just by leaving it resting its own weight. Okay, so next step is to remount the new dashboard. But first you have to transfer all its hardware to the new dashboard, because the new one came just with the structure itself.